welcome everyone. We'll declare this meeting open at 5 p.m. and begin by acknowledging the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, including traditional custodians of this land, the Wadandi and Kaniang people of the Noongar Nation, paying respects to elders past and present. A reminder that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded in accordance with Council Policy EMCP2. Members of the public are reminded that no other visual or audio recording of the meeting by any other means is allowed without the permission of the chairperson. Every endeavour is made to only record those who are actively participating. However, other comments or noises may be picked up in the recording. And attendance this evening, we have a full council for the first time in around 9 months, I think. We didn't have a full bench, I think, from August or September last year. So it's wonderful. And on that note, I'd like to welcome our two newest councillors who are attending their first meeting this evening since election, in our extraordinary election, Councillor Leanne Ringe and Councillor Reggie Kian. Welcome. It was lovely to see the full bench here. Wonderful. And also attending are Councillor Tyler Hall, Councillor Amanda McNabb, Councillor Alex Purick, Councillor Grant Patrick, Councillor John Bailey, and myself, Councillor Vivian McCarthy, Shire President. Executive attending are our CEO, Nick O'Connor, Director of Operations, Roscoe Marshall, Director of Finance and Community, Colin Young, Executive Manager Corporate, Lauren Clifford, and Administration Officer Corporate Services, Sam Farquhar. And welcome to those in the public gallery and all those participating via live stream. Moving on to item 2.1, apologies, there are none for tonight. And then 2.2, approve leave of absence, and there are none, of course. And clause 8.2, is that what you're about to tell me?
Yep, suspending the standing orders.
Okay. I was hoping to get Councillor Lindeman to stand up before we do that. No standing orders. Councillor Lindeman, if you're wondering tonight, can explain that, please. Yep. Microphone on.
Thank you. Because you didn't mention me at the beginning, I thought that perhaps...
Because we had a grand announcement.
It was already... Unrecognisable, yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Look, I will sit down if everyone's seen that. I can't do up the back because my back's too big. But this still has a tag on it, and I wore it for a number of reasons. Firstly, I would like us to have a high dress standard, of course. You know, we always present well and are professional. But also we have two new councillors and I welcome them. I think that's quite a celebration. Also there is, from an environmental perspective at this time, people should know that this dress came off at Tip Face, and it's one of 150 that I found on the tip that I dragged out. A variety of different ones. So the waste is real, and it's made from oil, polyester, nylon, acrylic, spandex, and then all the plastic is all 99% oil or gas. So I just like to highlight that at this point in time, things haven't been so hard that people are still throwing out these items. But yes, to keep in mind that you can recycle at any time.
Thanks so much, Councillor Lindeman. And Councillor Ringe noted that the colour is green. And my apologies for missing you off the attendance list, but that was a much better recognition of your presence. Councillors, at the start of each council meeting, a resolution is needed to suspend clause 8.2, members to rise, of the Meeting Procedures Local Laws 2017. This is needed to preserve the quality of the live stream. Would councillors like to move that we suspend clause 8.2? Councillor McNabb and Councillor Purick, and in favour? All. Now, getting back into 2.3, applications for leave of absence. We have one request for leave from Councillor Ringe for the May 2026 Ordinary Council meeting. Councillors, would you like to move to approve Leanne's request for leave? Councillor Ringe's request for leave. Councillor McNabb and Councillor Keown. Congratulations on your first. All in favour? Okay, moving into item 3, announcements. I have 3, I think. And I'm very, very pleased to share that the Auditor-General, Ms Carolyn Spencer, has released the Local Government 2025 Financial Audit Results, with the Shire of Donnybrook Balingup recognised as a top 25 best practice entity. The report summarises the audit results of 138 local government entities for the year ended 30th of June 2025 and was tabled in Parliament on the 15th of April 2026. The Auditor-General assesses entities on their financial reporting practices, including the quality, accuracy and timeliness of their financial reports. I have an extensive background in finance, and I know that recognition such as this reflects expert professional knowledge, sustained hard work, a strong focus on end-to-end process improvement, and a genuine commitment to good governance and sound controls. It also relies on the excellent leadership and teamwork across the organisation. So congratulations to this team here at the top bench and everyone who has contributed to achieving the top 20 result, including councillors and the community. It is an achievement that the whole community can be proud of. And then the next item we'd like to highlight is the Halls Heritage Tour on Sunday the 26th of April from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Shire is hosting a free guided bus journey through now 3, not 4, unique and historic halls, each with its own story, character and connection to the past. The tour starts at 10 a.m. at the Donnybrook Soldiers Memorial Hall, or you can hop on the bus from Balingup, I think at the Village Green, Balingup Village anyway, at 9:20 a.m. And the next announcement is regarding our Anzac Day services. There are a number around the Shire with councillors present at each one, and I will guide you to the Shire's website to look at those, because there's a number of them to go through. But you'll find one in a location near you. And congratulations to the Balingup community who held another successful Balingup Small Farm Field Day last weekend. Moving on to item 4, declarations of interest. A reminder that Division 6, Subdivision 1 of the Local Government Act 1995 states that care should be taken by all councillors, committee members and staff to ensure that a financial or impartiality interest is declared and that they refrain from voting on any matter which is considered to come within the ambit of the Act. Do councillors have any declarations to make? Councillor Tyler?
Just the one as previously declared in the minutes.
Have we got it on?
Yeah, so
Okay, I didn't have that in. So Councillor Tyler has declared an impartiality interest in relation to item 9.2.5, as he was in the Donnybrook Basketball Committee as a non-executive member. So Mr. Tyler, Councillor Tyler can, Councillor Tyler Hall can stay within the room when we get to that item. Okay, moving on to public question time. There are no responses to questions taken on notice at the previous meeting. At item 5.2, we have a question from Mr. Gerritsen Kieft, and that can be found, that has been responded to. It's regarding the Donnybrook electronic vehicle recharging stations, and you can find the answer to that in the minutes. And moving on to presentations. At 6.1, 6.2, we have no petitions or presentations, which brings us to item 6.3, deputations. Mr. Chris Amey and Dr. Julian Hilbers will present on behalf of Save Preston River Valley and in relation to item 9.3.5, which was to be presented this afternoon this evening within the agenda.
So thanks everyone for this opportunity to speak to this. As you know, Save Preston River Valley is a local incorporated community group. We're here focused very much looking at protecting the Preston River Valley from mining and other extractive industries. If you look at it, the area is the middle upper Preston, which starts at the Noggara end and comes in through to the Illarap. Part of that, we'd like to also acknowledge that the river is of particular cultural significance to our First Nation peoples, and we're particularly talking today about the exemption that we have submitted to the Minister of Mining, Minister Michael, and this was first raised with the Council earlier in April, and we've submitted a request to the Minister on the 16th of April, and this is a summary of the rationale why we're also seeking support from our council for this matter. And the focus is on the exemption of about 574 hectares of the Preston River riparian zone, as well as the railway reserve and adjacent reserves, as Mr. Amey will be speaking to that in a bit more detail.
The following plan details in tables 1 and 2 of the information that's already been provided indicates that all land sought for exemption is currently available for mining. The rationale is to present supporting arguments to exclude mining from the area sought by changing category to exempt land for the purposes of the Mining Act. Supporting the outcomes and objectives of the following state. The outcomes and objectives of the following state government policies support the exemption request. The West Australian Climate Change Policy for 2020, State Planning Strategy 2050, and State Planning Policy 2.9 Water in 2025. The Climate Change, West Australian Climate Change Policy states invest in revegetation, habitat restoration and protection of existing vegetation to deliver at scale environmental outcomes. The state planning strategy requires that waterways and wetlands have adequate foreshore areas and wetland buffers to protect, manage and conserve water quality, native vegetation, aquatic and riparian habitats, ecological linkages and associated biodiversity values. The State Planning Policy 2.1 Water identifies a plan to protect and improve water quality and quantity for environmental, economic and social benefit. Climate change represents a persistent and evolving challenge for the West Australian community and is expected to increase stress on environmental parameters within the Preston River and its riparian zone. The Water Corporation has already reported that stream flow has reduced by around 8% since the mid-1970s. So we can expect here less dependent on seasonal water available for agriculture and ecological support in the future. We've already seen the low water event at Glenmervin, water level being as low as 6.2% in March 2024. So what we need to understand is the correlation between catchment health and water quality and quantity, and recognise the interest of the local community now and in the future to be best served by rehabilitation, maintenance and protection of healthy aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. The Preston River following numbers of listed species have been reserved within the area sought in Table 1, the EPBC Act, or the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act listed species. There were 4. 2 are listed as vulnerable, 2 are listed as critical. The Western Australian Biodiversity Conservation Act listed species. 1 was listed for, there were 2. 1 was listed for special protection, 1 was rare but not threatened. The International Union for Conservation of Nature Measures, there were 3. 1 was listed as vulnerable, 2 were listed as near threatened. There is also critical riparian buffer down there, buffer along the edge of the river in the area sought. According to Darrington, which you've gotten references for, the Mummaluk vegetative community has been extensively cleared. For Darrington, it's 96% cleared. Mastick and Havel in 1998 identified that the Upper Preston River Valley remnant vegetation has high conservation values. There is also an existing ecological imbalance that's been observed and is a symptom of historical interventions. These interventions include extensive clearing, logging, fertiliser application and grazing, to name a few. The integrated catchment management will discuss that in the rehabilitation section to come. We know that we've reviewed the information that's available and no critical elements that are identified within the requested intervention. We've already provided that information before, the background information. Unacceptable risk to the river from mining activity, increasing turbidity, resulting in smuggling and loss of life attenuation, loss of chemical containment, resulting in mortality from exposure, and disturbance of potential acid sulphate soils, resulting in potential leachate entry aquatic environment. All pose an unacceptable risk to downstream sensitive environmental sectors and beneficial users. The loss of opportunities is already provided in this submitted background information. There has been precedent here. There has been 20 national park and regional parks exempt from the Act in September 2019, and in more recent areas have also been exempted. Those have been published in the Western Australian Government Gazette. Historically, mining exploration provides low probability of commercialisation. That's been made clear in the information we've provided. Mining offers one-off opportunities for local economic development. Residual mining risk may constrain sustainable economic opportunities for the future, and loss of economic opportunity for the region offset by sustainable revenue sources. Agriculture is the principal source of economic contribution in the Shire. It contributes 22%. Tourism contributes 8% total, and mining contributes 24%. Economic offsets may be available through sustainable sources such as ecotourism and recreation opportunities. The rail opportunity is such opportunity, and it's also being pushed by the Premier. Public interest. Two community surveys undertaken to gauge opposition to exploration licence applications incorporating the middle and upper Preston River Valley between February 2022 and January 2025 identified that of those responding, 98% of private landowners were occupiers opposed any mining on their land now and in the future, demonstrating that mining has no social life. Single use is not sustainable. Mining reduces the disturbed land capacity to contain its current zoning classification, where disturbed land is high value and zoned by agriculture. This is not the public interest. Protection of the Preston River from activities not commensurate with sustainable future development is in accordance with Western Australia's future economic and ongoing community interest. community support for existing land zoning is demonstrated in part by a willingness to oppose mining tenure applications in Perth Municipal Court.
There's just a little, I think you've just got a few seconds to go. Do you think you'll need much longer, Chris?
I will need about 2 pages to go into.
All right, away we go.
This won't
Yes.
take long.
Okay.
Just quick reading. The area sought correlates with the largest remnant example of high conservation Mongolak vegetative complex valley floor in community. Rehabilitation of high value conservation areas should be treated as a priority. Rehabilitation also provides greater certainty for landowners and encourages rehabilitation of both areas and communities here on adjacent private land. SPRB requests commitment to Preston River Management Plan in the local planning strategy currently in draft. Resourcing, which is already identified in the background documentation that we provided for the people like the Southwest Natural Resource Management National Option Service. Thank you for the opportunity to present this deputation to council for consideration.
Thank you, Chris. And are you all right just to wait there in case councillors have any questions of you? Do councillors have any questions? Councillor Lindemann?
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much. I just wanted to double check that it was for Crown land only that you're looking for us to support, for no mining, is that correct?
I'll answer it this way. The minister is unable, it's not, the mines, it's not able to exempt private land. Land that is already, has a mining title on it, or land that is currently under application for a mining title, or a mining tenure. But yes, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the composition of land that has been identified on planning tables 1 and 2 that presented information, ranges from things like vacant crown land, reserves, railway reserves, closed roads, and 1 or 2 other bits and pieces that don't come to mind at the moment.
Thank you.
Councillor, yeah. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Bailey? Councillor Bailey?
Yeah,
Councillor
thank you, Mr. Amy, for coming along and doing that deputation. Just a question, I think I remember reading in the notes, is it's renewed every 2 years, is that correct? Yeah.
I have spoken to the department, and they're looking at changing it, possibly it might go out to every 5 years. But at the moment, the legislation indicates it's renewed every 2 years. The exemption is renewed every 2 years, so it gives the minister the opportunity to cancel, renew.
Thank you. Any other questions? Did you still want to ask a question, Councillor Bailey?
No, thank you. That was the same question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All done. CEO?
So through the chair, so Mr. Amy, do you mind just outlining, you sort of said that timing was important around the application, and it's certainly that the minister can't approve any exemptions whilst there's current mining applications. Do you mind just sort of outlining for council where we are with that window at this stage, please?
There's one existing application, there's one mining tenant that still exists, it's out. It intersects the river just near Thompson Brook. Its expiry date, I think, is the 5th of May, so it's within the next 2 weeks. From what I've seen, looking at Tengraph, which is the Department of Mine and Petroleum Exploration database, there has been no application for, no reapplication by the tenement holder to retain that title.
Thank you, Mr. Amy. Thank
very
you.
much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Councillors, I'm just going to note that we have found that item 9.2.3 and 9.2.4 do not require an absolute majority. So if you're agreeable, we can move to put those on block. Do I need to remove separate? So
we
if
can
we
just
put them on
include
block,
them in there.
adding those to that, and so when we move the on block, it'll be for all of those items.
So that was rescinding those two policies, councillors, and I recall through you, Chair, there was no questions or there was a recommendation out of the Reg 17 review that they'd be rescinded in their operational matters.
Okay, so would councillors, moving to adoption by exception, would councillors like to move the following items on block and resolve in accordance with each of the executive recommendations? So this is items 7.1.1, ordinary council meeting held on, minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 25th of March 2026. 8.1.1, the local emergency management committee meeting held on the 4th of November 2025. 8.2.1, the Bunbury Geograph Group of Councils meeting held on 27th of March 2026. And 9.2.1, the schedule of accounts paid as at the 31st of March 2026. 9.2.2, monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of March 2026. 9.2.3, policy, is it a policy?
Rescind.
Sorry.
Policy building insurance.
So it's FIN/CP-8, rescind council policy building insurance, and policy HR/CP-3, rescind policy employment recreation centre subsidy. And also 9.3.3, amended start times for the 2026 agenda briefing sessions and council meetings. Would someone like to move that we accept those recommendations on block? Councillor Hall and Councillor Patrick. Councillor Hall, Councillor
Nothing to
Patrick.
add, thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, to put on record, that we have at the agenda briefing and at workshops talked through all those items, asked questions and had answers to those questions, just so the members of the public are sure that we're not just acknowledging it. We have gone through them, assessed them, asked the relevant questions and satisfied ourselves with any queries that we had. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Councillor Hall, right reply. Sorry.
No, nothing to add, thank you.
All right, councillors, all those in favour? And councillors, I'd like to move another procedural motion to move item 9.3.5, I think that's the number, for which we've just had the deputation. If I can just find the description of it. So 9.3.5, Save Preston River Valley, request for support for exemption to Mining Act 1978, to move the order of business and put that in for our next item. Councillor Lindeman and Councillor Patrick, does anyone want to speak or argue against? All in favour? Aye. So we'll move that, we'll take that item 9.3.5 now. Is that right? Okay, we've received a deputation, so we'll just go straight through to ask councillors to move the executive recommendation that council provides a letter of support to accompany the Save Preston River Valley application to have Crown land adjacent to the Preston River as identified in attachment 9.3.51, exempted from mining and associated activity under section 19(1) of the Mining Act 1978. Would councillors like to move that recommendation? Councillor Bailey, and seconded by Councillor Patrick. Councillor Bailey, would you like to speak to the motion?
Through the chair, no, really. I think everything's there and I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Councillor Patrick?
Thank you. Yeah, look, I'd just like to say thank you for the work and the effort that's gone in and for the deputation. From my perspective, you know, I work in mining, I've lived in mining towns, I support mining in general, but I think it has a place. And I don't think through, fragile ecosystems and areas such as the Preston Valley is that place. So would support councillors to support the recommendation and, best wishes around the application for the exemption.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Would anyone else like to speak for the motion? Councillor Lindeman.
Yeah, thanks. Just again to reiterate that having a group of people that are passionate and community members that fight for areas of our environment is really important, because it's not something we brought to the table, it's something they did. So I think it's really important that we look to that, have a look at what they're putting together, the work they've done, the facts, and if we are in agreement, then we should, under good conscience, make a decision to support them.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Would someone else like to speak for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Purick.
Yeah, I'd just also like to add that I think it's very promising with the inclusion of the rail reserve. I think it shows the potential forward thinking and the identification of a rail trail development which could further diversify Donnybrook Baling Up's economy and bring new tourists into our area. So yeah, I think it's worthwhile.
Thank you, Councillor Purick. Anyone else like to speak to the motion? I have a word to say. I am absolutely delighted to be lending support to this proposal, and I'm so appreciative of the hard work that's gone into not just putting this exemption request forward to the Minister, but also all of the work that was done through the Warden's Court. I think 4 times you have avoided exploration licences in this area, and the initiative that the Safe Preston River Valley group has taken to both speak to the Minister and identify the opportunity for an exemption and then do all this work towards that objective is wonderful. So encourage councillors to vote for this recommendation. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? Right, councillors, we'll put this to vote. Right of reply, I beg your pardon, for Councillor Bailey.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Right, all in favour? And that's unanimous. Okay, moving back to the order of the agenda. Thank you. Okay. 9.1.1? Okay. Moving straight through now the on-block items to 9.1, or reports of officers at 9, and 9.1, Director of Operations. 9.1.1, the Donnybrook Transit Park, upgrades and remedial works. Councillors, we've gone through this in detail at our workshop. Would someone like to move the executive recommendation? We're looking for an absolute majority. That Council approves additional unbudgeted expenditure of $35,520 from the existing capital works budget underspend for unplanned remedial works to the Donnybrook Transit Park. And number 2, requests the Chief Executive Officer to return any unspent contingency to the building reserve. And at item 3, requests the Chief Executive Officer to communicate the temporary closure of the Transit Park and the booking website and Shire media platforms. Would someone like to move this motion? Councillor Hall and Councillor Patrick. Councillor Hall, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you. Just briefly, just noting that this is the second unbudgeted expense at the Transit Park this year, maybe late last year. Obviously, with expenses being tightly monitored across all areas, this is just something that probably to keep an eye on in a sense of responsible financial metrics. Is the income for the Transit Park worth the investment? So I support the immediate fixing of this problem, but probably something in the future we need to look at is the Transit Park from an income and loss perspective as well. Make sure it's the right thing to have the council investing money in.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Patrick, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you. Look, acknowledging what Councillor Hall said, from my perspective, we initially supported the unbudgeted expenditure to really undertake the investigations to determine what was going on, and that's now been determined and costed. I think whilst it is a good asset for income for the community, for the Shire and for the council, I think the benefits of having a good functional transit park extend far beyond that. It gives tourists somewhere to stay rather than just passing through town, and the economic impact and benefit of that far surpasses just the financial gains that might come into the council or the Shire's coffers. So I think it's really important, given the lack of infrastructure basically between Bunbury and, look, realistically all the way through, there's not a lot of good caravan parks, transit park sites. So I think it's a really important thing for this Shire to have, and therefore, you know, recommend that councillors support the recommendation to bring this up to scratch, so we can ensure tourists have a nice, comfortable place to stay and encourage them to stay longer. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Lindeman?
Thank you. I have a question. I asked it previously, and forgive me if I've missed this, but I did ask what sort of loss of revenue we will have over the period of time that it was closed, some sort of figure that was expected to be lost and put into budget.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Director of Operations? No? Director of Finance and Community?
The loss of revenue through the chair will be 7,000 per month. It'll be 7,000 per month. At the moment, we're probably looking for it to be a month to 6 weeks closed.
So between
Okay,
7
thank you.
and
Yeah, just
10 and a half.
Yep, thank you.
Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Right for reply. Councillor Hall?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
We'll put that to vote. Those in favour? That's unanimous. Moving now to 9.2.5. Review of capped court hire arrangements for sporting clubs. I won't read out that recommendation, but I know there was prospective amendment. Would you like to, Councillor Patrick, would you like to make that the substantive motion?
Yes, yep.
Okay, we'll work it that way?
Yep.
Okay. So Councillor Patrick has moved his motion. Would someone like to second when it comes up? There we go. Would someone like to second the motion? Councillor Lindeman? Councillor Patrick, would you like to speak to your...
Yeah, thank you. Look, this amendment to the motion really still supports the same concept and idea. It just changes the order of operation. So rather than just as the initial recommendation, it's stated to cancel the capped price fees and then go through the consultation phase and development phase of new fees. I believe it would be much better for the groups to go through those phases, determine what it is, have that consultation brought back to council so council can then make a more informed decision rather than supporting that we cancel it now without really knowing what potentially might come in. So it's designed to do the same thing. I think the concept is sound. You know, we need to look at what we are charging groups, make it fair and equitable across groups. It's just that order of operations that my amendment seeks to try and tidy up. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Patrick. Would anyone like to speak against the motion?
I supported it, so I'll...
Oops, I beg your pardon? Seconder? Sorry. Yes, would you like to speak?
Yes. May I speak to the motion also as the seconder? Yeah.
Yes, you're right to go, Councillor Lindeman.
Thank you, President. I just wanted to support that because I thought there was a bit of an uneasiness about what the fees might be. And when clubs are going to sport, I think they want to feel confident, and the fear of not knowing what a price rise might look like without consultation. We're talking about looking after things that are affordable. I will speak from sporting things. I think things like netball and football can be within a budget and need to be budgeted for. And they're reasonable, but if those costs escalate, it may exclude some people from sport, and I think it's really important that everyone's included. So I think those consultations and those conversations need to happen to make sure it's inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lindemann. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Councillor Ringe?
Yeah, I'm not speaking against, but I've just got a couple of questions.
Questions?
That's
are
all right?
Yes.
My first question is, when I first read this agenda item, there's no reference to the rec centre in the title or the motion. I don't know whether you want to put rec centre or Shire managed courts, because we do have tennis courts and we do have other.
So your question is...
So my question
the
is,
description-
should the motion or the title include reference to the rec centre?
For clarity, I would suggest it should. But
I'm not sure the original motion had.
in the body of the report, I guess probably for clarity, I guess it's good governance for it to stand alone and to be very clear in a motion of council. So that's really a matter for council. If they believe it provides more clarity by including that, then with the agreement of the mover and the seconder, that could be amended accordingly. Or Councillor Ringe could actually move an amendment more formally, but it can be done administratively with the mover and the seconder.
Councillor Patrick, are you happy to put the...
Yeah, look,
recreation centre?
it is in the background, it's throughout the documentation, but I appreciate what you're saying. For those that are looking for summaries, it's for me, the concept of the amendment's still the same, regardless of the title.
Where
So
would you
I'm
like
more
to
than happy.
Sorry?
Suggestion.
Yes?
So perhaps
CEO
supports
suggest.
the development of a standardised club usage agreement framework for the Donnybrook Recreation Centre Stadium court hire. Does that provide sufficient clarity? I think it tightens it up a little bit. Does Mr Young, do you have a comment? Sorry, I saw you reaching for the microphone before.
No, I think if council would prefer that there for clarity, that's fine.
So Councillor Patrick, are you happy with that now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep. And Councillor Hall, are you happy with that? As seconder? Sorry. Councillor Lindemann, are you happy with that? as a
I
seconder?
am, but I'm... who is this person? That's fine. You're catching your reflection again. I'm happy with that, thank you.
I've got one more question. Can I continue with that, or do you want to go to the next councillors?
No, you can ask another question.
Okay, my other question was a time frame in regards to the fees and charges. I know the budget is in preparation. Of course, the new fees and charges are going to be in the new budget, but is this looking to be done prior to the budget, or is it post-budget?
Director of Finance and Community?
Through the chair, I would believe that it would be after. It would be post-budget.
Thank you. Now, Councillor Hall.
Sorry, just a point of clarification, just prior to that one, adding the Donnybrook Rec Centre to the amendment number 1 there, does that focus the work into the agreed framework to be pointed only at that one facility at the exclusion of everywhere else? Is that what that's doing now, rather than keeping it general and flat as just an agreed framework across clubs across the Shire, which I think would be more appropriate?
Okay. What's your view?
Oh, look, it's definitely going to make a point towards the Donnybrook Recreation Centre, which was the original intent was to start looking at the courts within there. Whether it goes beyond that is something that we will look at, and we can certainly, if we look at the ovals and stuff, bring that to council as well at the same time.
Councillor Hall?
Thank you, through the chair. Just on that point as well, does that go against one of the objectives of this work, which is to produce equitable outcomes? Why are we putting one through as a test first, and they might have a negative outcome while the rest operate and pay as they had agreed beforehand?
Thank you, Councillor Hall.
Yeah, so I think, look, you're exactly right, through your chair, Councillor Hall. There was, you know, the prompt for this was obviously the Donnybrook Rec Centre, as outlined by Mr Pepler and Mr Young as part of the agenda briefing. However, you know, if we want this to go Shire-wide, then perhaps we take out the word Donnybrook Recreation Centre. In the original recommendation in the officer's report, it does talk about a revised stadium court hire model for recognised sporting clubs. So maybe that's targeted but generic enough to then apply across the board, if that's indeed the will of council. I don't know whether Mr Young's got anything further to add to that.
No.
So it could be supports the development of a standardised club usage agreement framework for a revised, or for stadium court hire, and for stadium court hire, yeah. Model, sorry, yep. Create framework for the stadium court, yeah. So,
For recognised sporting clubs based on the structure subsidy
Yeah.
model.
you happy with that?
I did have another one which actually said...
Just a moment,
Sorry.
please, Councillor Inch.
So just, yeah, supports the development of a standardised club usage agreement framework for the stadium court hire, and then what do we have here? Hire model, yeah, for recognised
Okay.
sporting clubs. That's okay as it is. I'm comfortable that I've got enough direction from, if council's
Can
comfortable
I
with that.
also ask another question? Any fee change would have to come to council anyway, wouldn't it, to be approved?
Yep, that's right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Ringe?
No, I just wanted to apologise. I should have gone through the chair to ask questions as well. Thank you.
Okay, so we have Councillor Patrick has proposed this amendment. Councillor Lindemann, are you happy with the changes?
Yes, I am, thank you.
Yes. Okay. And would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? Anyone like to speak for the recommendation? Councillor Hall?
Thank you. Yes, it's definitely a proposal that would benefit the community, having that known framework in existence. Probably just something to be mindful of is the different setups of community groups. Some are incorporated, some are not, some are volunteer-based, some are not, some have paid roles, some don't. So I don't think a one-size-fits-all solution would be what I hope to see here. Hopefully there is some optionality throughout in different levels that different groups, based on their models and how they operate, it suits them as well.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Patrick, right of reply? Okay, we'll put it to vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimously carried. Moving on to 9.3, Chief Executive Officer. And 9.3.1, the Warren Blackwood Climate Alliance Reference Group membership, known as CARG. Would councillors like to move the motion to appoint... I'll just preface that with saying we did go out for expressions of interest and inviting councillors to nominate their interest in the group, and we had one councillor respond, and that was Councillor Anita Lindemann. Are there any other expressions of interest at this point. Okay, so would councillors like to move that we appoint the following, appoint Anita Lindeman as the Warren Blackwood Climate Alliance Reference Group CARG member? Councillor Lindeman and seconded by Councillor McNabb. Councillor Lindeman, would you like to speak?
Thank you very much. I think that some people know I resigned from this committee because I felt that there's a little too much conversation and not enough action, and you can get frustrated and you can get this sort of environmental fatigue, even emotionally feel a bit drained that so little happens in the areas that you really are concerned about. However, I have regrouped, got my frock on, and I'm ready to go, so I appreciate the support. I will serve the community the best way I can. And yeah, if you want one of these frocks at $5, they are non-biodegradable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Councillor McNabb? No? Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Anyone like to speak for the motion? All right, councillors, we'll put that to vote. All in favour?
Unanimous? Yep.
Congratulations, Councillor Lindeman. Very fitting that you presented yourself as you have done tonight.
As fitting as your dress.
Yeah. Right. Item 9.3.2, Development Assessment Panel, or DAP membership. And once again, we went out to councillors through the week and asked for expressions of interest. We received one expression back, and that was from Councillor Ringe. And I'd like to move, or invite councillors to move to appoint Councillor Ringe as a Development Assessment Panel member. Would someone like to move? Councillor Lindeman and Councillor Purick seconding. Councillor Lindeman, would you like to speak to that?
Oh, I just know Leanne will really enjoy this job.
Thank you. And Councillor Purick? Would anyone like to speak against the recommendation? Question?
Thank you. Just with the DAP previously, in the previous motion, it was requested that we had alternate members as well, just in case. And I just wonder, so I was in as an alternate member. I haven't had any engagement with that space, but I was just wondering, I think Councillor Ringe is perfect for the main role. Do we still require to have an alternate member, and does that change from what we had? Or yeah, that's just some clarification around that, really. Thanks.
I'll ask CEO to respond.
Yeah, so through the chair, this is just filling the vacancy, so you still remain the alternate members. The other position still stands, and same with the other position. Yeah.
Thank you. And anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Right, councillors, we'll put that to vote. Oh no, right of reply. And we'll put that to vote. All in favour? Unanimous. Item 9.3.3 is on block. 9.3.4, appointment of panel members for CEO performance review for 2026. Once again, expressions of interest were requested from councillors throughout the week, and we received one response, and that was from Councillor Patrick. Had we appointed the other member previously? No. Or is it both? So no, my interest, or my appointment is by virtue of my position.
Yes. And
I'm also keenly interested. So would someone like to move that Council adopt the attached CEO performance review process for CEO Nicholas O'Connor for 2026, and 2, appoints the CEO performance review panel as 2.1 the Shire President, and 2.2 elected member Councillor Patrick. Councillor Lindeman, Councillor Hall. And Councillor Lindeman, would you like to speak to the motion?
Both Councillor Patrick and yourself have experience in recruitment and have gone through this process previously, so I think that you're good candidates for the role.
Thank you, Councillor Lindeman. Councillor Hall?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to speak to the, or accept, grateful for your support in putting myself forward. And I'd also like to encourage all the new councillors following election, once you've dusted off your compulsory training, I'd like to see us all do training in our CEO performance review skills and be part of this amazing process, because this is one of the primary responsibilities that we have. And we're very proud. The original council that came into being after our commissioner is very, very proud of the process that we went through and the time that was spent and the rigour that was around our recruiting process. And now we're into a review of that and keeping that initial energy alive. So hammer that training and get along to performance review training. Thank you, councillors. Would anyone else like to speak to the motion? All right, we'll put that, right of reply to Councillor Lindeman. We'll put that to vote. All in favour? Thank you, councillors. Unanimous. And we've already covered item 9.3.5. There are no elected member motions and no new business of an urgent nature that I'm aware of. Do councillors have any business of an urgent nature? We have no items to be closed to the public, and there are no matters for which we need to read out resolutions. So we move to item 13. And I can assure you that our next agenda briefing session will be held on the 20th of May 2026 at 5 p.m. in council chambers. And I declare this meeting closed at 5:56 p.m.